Welcome to Backstage the Series. We're very thrilled today to have with us Krista Mitchell, the artist formerly known as Krista Leland, who played Jen on Upstaged the Series, and Lauren Miller, who played Mariam Barbnut. Hi, you guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Thanks for just popping on very originally for the first time just now.
Just now.
Yeah. Are you guys having a good quarantine?
How does one answer that question? Isn't good and quarantine sort of a contradiction in terms here?
Well, it depends on how social you were before the quarantine. For some people,
There it is.
This is a great excuse to not hang out with people.
Oh, are you telling us something about yourself?
I think so.
Clearly you have not watched previous episodes because I've gone to great lengths in other episodes about how welcome this quarantine is for me. Krista, how about you?
Well, at least right now it's really busy. I'm taking a couple of classes. I have a couple of jobs still. So yeah, keeping busy.
Yeah. And now
lots of Zooming.
Everything is reopening. I notice you guys have very nice setups around you. Clearly this is not your first time in front of the Zoom camera.
No. One tends to do virtually everything virtually in terms of theater and everything else, right?
Right. How are you guys handling not performing?
I've been performing a lot, but it's just different. I mean, it's not as satisfying as doing anything in person, and you never meet your cast. So unless it's people that you know well, it just isn't. I mean, it's not the same thing. I mean, it can't be. It's interesting. I think I'm learning a lot. But being actually able to rehearse with real humans and getting that energy that you get in person is just a whole different world.
Yeah. Are these like Zoom readings that you're doing?
A lot of staged reading types of things. I also did a full-length performance of Prosper and the Tempest, which was sort of a hybrid between staged reading, and they added in animation and sound effects, and the whole thing just dropped today, so I haven't even seen it all. I was sort of afraid. I was afraid to look. So we'll see. I'm sure I will watch it and find that if I had had a chance to watch things before, I would have done many things differently. No doubt.
Yes.
So that's my trick. If you're recording something in Zoom, get a chance to watch a scene and see what you're actually doing.
Krista, are you doing any performing?
No. So I am 2 years into my graduate program to get 2 masters doing musicology and library science. And I'm also working. So.
You moved to Indiana.
Yes, I am in Bloomington, Indiana.
So we can pretty much say that it's because of Krista that there will never be a season 2 of Upstaged the Series because, well, also we could blame Robin who moved to Florida. So
I think we can blame him more because I can be there in like
further. You could make the drive if you needed to.
Yeah.
So let's get into episode 7. Episode 7 was for everybody who has not seen it. And why are you watching this if you haven't seen Upstaged? I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, desperate for entertainment.
Here we are.
It deals with ghosts, which is kind of a subplot that we've been rolling out through since the very beginning. I think the very first episode had some sort of ghost reference in it, and this kind of culminates in both the first part of Marian's story arc, which is what I refer to as the pre-redemptive arc, and then there's the post-redemptive arc later on, and and also the introduction of our ghost and the only person who can see it being Jen. Did you guys have a chance to rewatch the episode?
Oh
I
yeah.
did. Oh yes. I did.
Can you believe it's been like 3 years ago already since we made that? It's
No,
amazing.
I can't.
I mean, how much time has flown and flown, flown,
Flowness.
flown.
Flony.
Yes. How much time has flown? And one of the things I really liked in fact watching all of these episodes is to see how close the cast was, and you can really feel that when you're watching these episodes. It was such a great group of people. Every single person in the cast and crew, and we had 100 volunteers, including cast and crew and volunteers and extras and everybody to help make this series. And there was just a genuine pleasantness around it that really comes across on screen. I was wondering if you guys picked up on that at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it was very always friendly, welcoming, especially, I mean, I wasn't there for every episode, but I never felt like I was just like an, extra on set ignored. So people were always very nice and welcoming, and the setting was fabulous, to be in the Opera House. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost teared up watching the episode, and just now when you're giving your spiel about us all loving each other, because I miss it. I miss y'all. I miss Woodstock. I miss Illinois.
Oh, we miss you too. It was so much fun to have everybody up on set, and I really think that I'm really thankful that so much talent was able to be assembled in one place and gave so much of themselves for so little compensation. So let's talk about going back to, before we start talking about episode 7 specifically, the casting process. Clearly you guys came in, did fantastic jobs on the audition, but how did you first hear about Upstaged?
I think you must have placed an ad somewhere.
Somewhere. I don't know.
One of the audition sites.
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I think we posted it on Facebook, and somehow
I think it was on a website, because I wouldn't have seen it.
No, you would, and that's why I thought it was so interesting to have you two here, because there were a lot of people in Upstaged who were from the Woodstock Community Theater Group. And then there were a handful of people who came from the city or the far off suburbs. And so I've been trying to like recollect, and I didn't mean to throw you guys under the bus, but I honestly had no idea how you guys first heard about the audition. But I know we had some people who somehow got a hold of it from their agents. So it must have been, I'm looking over at Karen right now, like, can you help at all?
Do you know who did it? I don't know.
Yeah,
well, sometimes some of the sites like Theater Mafia or something like that will carry audition sort of prompts about things, and so it gets sort of passed around. But I think it was on something like Theater in Chicago or League of Chicago Theater. It was on something.
I think when you said Theater Mafia, that rang a bell.
Yeah, I think it did for me too.
So we're gonna say that's how you heard about it.
That's how we heard about it.
Yes, that's how we heard about it.
And what was it about the series that made you decide that it was worth driving all the way to Woodstock, Illinois for?
I think it was irresistible to be part of a new thing from the ground up. It was just so fun to be part of a new series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of building a show from the ground up. Sounded really cool. Even Terry and Jen, I felt like I could kind of connect with in a way too. So I was like, I think I have a shot with it. I mean, obviously I only had a real shot with one of them.
Yeah.
But
We should have made them twins. What were we thinking? Did they
Parent Trap.
they didn't know they were twins, even though they looked and dressed and talked exactly alike?
That sounds pretty
Comedy
in
gold.
character.
Wait, we missed that. That's gonna be my follow-up series. I'm gonna start working on that as soon as I finish this.
I love all the spin-offs we had.
Yeah, and I think if you watch from the beginning, you can really see growth from the first episodes we filmed until the last episodes we filmed.
I think that's I think Jeff said something about that, or Joel said. Somebody said something about that. It's like we've grown so much. It would be so nice to be able to sort of, go back and have all this expertise right from the beginning in terms of and filming and everything.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing when we first started. We had none of us had ever done anything like this before, creating a TV show. We had a script, we had equipment, and we had hopes and dreams, and that's what we did, and then we made a show. But yeah, it's so funny to look at those first episodes, and I just, oh God, I would have done things so differently.
I know.
But that's what makes it what it is. Is there anything that you guys remember about episode 7 specifically in terms of either the setting up or the day of filming, or about the people you worked with, or anything that you want to talk about?
I remember in the last shot when we were in the lighting booth trying to figure out how we could stack our heads appropriately. I think in the end I was doing a straddle squat and she was leaning on me and I was leaning on a table. That's one thing I remember very vividly.
I remember that there was a request for a certain word that Mariam Barbnut used to be done in outtakes. And I sort of wondered what happened to those outtakes.
They still exist somewhere. We have not had the opportunity to really showcase Mariam Barbnut in all of her glory.
I don't know if I knew this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there were, because we took several different. I made this show, which was a very wholesome, kind of clean cut situation comedy, and I felt that there needed to be some edge, because otherwise people would not think it was hip for some reason. I did this. So I would put in 1 or 2 swears per episode, just specifically for that purpose, to make it edgy. And now that's one of those things that, looking back, I'm I don't think we really needed it. But there were some cases where we did, and Mariam Barbnut's line in that, Lauren, was one of those places. It was just a matter of how bad it needed to be. And Krista, talking about contortions that you've had to do, that brings to mind, we'll talk about it later on. Do you guys remember when we were doing that filming and you guys were sitting at the table eating lunch and everybody else had to have their heads stacked up in the door?
Yeah.
That was some contortion. So I'm very happy that most everybody in the cast has had to really twist their bodies to get into some sort of position to make a shot happen.
It's true.
The balcony was always a pain to shoot in, just because it was so limited space, and the roads would make it so that you couldn't put the camera anywhere, because again, for everybody who's seen it, this was all shot on location, primarily at the Woodstock Opera House, although both of you guys had the chance to film actually off-site as well. Lauren, I remember we went to a bank in McHenry, where Christy Johansson's husband worked, and they let us in after hour to shoot the Fox Val. What is it? The farts scenes.
Yeah.
Farts.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
Yes.
that. I need to rewatch all of this.
Yeah. Well, those
are out.
They have not come out yet. That is going to be one of the things that people will get to see if they keep following these videos. We'll be premiering episode 12 and 13, and then everybody will see how it all turns out.
Woo!
And then Krista, you and Robin had the fantastic opportunity to walk the streets of Woodstock and then get pelted by eggs.
Oh, yes.
I think that was episode 4 or 5. Is that?
I think so.
And it was not. I think it was like April we shot those episodes in. Do you recall much about that?
That sounds right. Because it was still kind of chilly, but not cold.
It was still kind of chilly. And just for everybody who sees this episode, go back and watch episode 4. We didn't talk about this. We're talking about episode 7, but this happened in episode 4. It's just as important. We actually shot in an alley, and we had Christy and Victoria Ross on 2 ladders. And correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, Krista. And Robin and Krista standing underneath them, and they were just throwing eggs at them.
Yes, and they would bounce off Robin and break on me. That's exactly what would happen.
Oh.
So maybe he maybe got a bit more pain, but I got quite a bit of
You were pretty
dunk.
drenched.
The joke was on you, right? Sorry, had to be said.
What a trooper you guys were, and everybody was. And again, this is what I talk about: is like the lengths you were willing to drive, and the things you were willing to do and say, so that we could make hopefully somebody laugh somewhere. Oh, what is?
You wanted to say hi. This is Honey.
Hi, honey. You want to see Krista's cat? Karen's coming to see Krista's cat. Yay. Honey, how old is he?
I don't know how long she's gonna stay.
Oh, she.
This is Honey. She is 7 years old. She's getting old. Not old, but she's an adult.
She's a grown-up cat.
She's a grown-up.
So she made the move with you, or you adopted her?
She made the move with me. She was with me when I did my undergrad in Oklahoma City. Then she moved with me to Chicago and now Indiana.
Traveled the U.S. or the Midwest.
She did.
How, Lauren? Do you have any pets you'd like to?
I have 2 black cats.
Oh, but they are hiding out, or are they camouflaged back there?
They're hiding. There's hiding. One's a tuxedo cat. The other one is a oh gosh, I've forgotten what it's called. They're both rescue cats, but one is purebred, and he is all black whiskers, black claws, black everything. And so when the light is out and he lies on something black, you can't see him. Literally can't see him. If he closes his eyes, that's it. So.
Oh, sorry about
that interruption. I'm wearing my Frinzy thing that I wore in the show, and she was having a good time with that.
I think we should make it a regular segment. Pet corner. Everybody show your pets.
Absolutely. Why not?
So I wanted to talk a little bit about your characters and how you approached your characters and what you connected with them. How different were they from who you are naturally? And because I really thought that, and again, this is something that I tried to do during casting is, I always try to cast based on what the character or what the actor is giving me subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like what kind of energy they're putting out, what the look is, what the feel of them is, because I know the camera's gonna capture that. So were there aspects of the character you connected with, or things that you really had to stretch to really bring across Krista, we'll start with you.
I think it was more unlocking different parts of myself to find her. Because inside of me is, I don't know, like a swooshy wooshy, anything is possible in your brain power. And I think sometimes that gets hidden away in me being a little too cerebral at times. So I think that's actually what drew me to the character, was the opportunity to be a bit more like, but what if this really weird thing happened? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
But you were wonderful in that character. And Lauren, what about you?
Oh, I mean, to play a character with the best name ever. Absolutely me. How did you know? I think what I like about Marion is that she's passionate, and she will do. Oh, I'm being told something's been upgraded. Oh, good God! And that she is. She's passionate. She's there. She'll do what it takes, and she's wildly creative about it. A bit of a pushes people away rather a bit, but there's a lot to connect with there. And being spicy, I think Marion is a lot spicier than anyone ever really saw. And I think Marion really liked Moisty products, or whatever his name was, never got that straight, because he was also took no prisoners. I think she's a take no prisoners kind of gal. And so, I would identify with that on some levels.
And I thought that she was hilarious. Again, it was a fine line, because the characters in Upstaged as written are composites of people that I've known and experiences that I've had and personalities that you find in theater. Brought to a heightened degree. So over the years since we started making this, there have been people who recognize aspects of themselves in these characters, and you have to say no. This, I am not saying that Mariam Barbnut is you. I'm not saying that Jen Simmons, who is actually named after one of my wife's coworkers, whose name is Jen Simmons. No, this is not.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the intriguing things, because and this may come as a surprise to you, I hate naming characters. I hate it. It's the one thing about writing I cannot stand. Krista, you look like you feel the same.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what? I never would have guessed.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what do you want your last name to? What do you want your last name to be? I don't care.
Whatever you want, right? Because I don't care either. So everybody in Upstage, except for Mariam Barbnut and Mr. Prideaux, but all of the other characters are named after people that I actually know in life, so that I don't have to make anything up. Which is why we ended up having a Jen playing Terry and a Krista playing Jen, and all kinds of Shannons all over the place. It was just crazy, but still a lot of fun. And have you guys done other films since Upstaged, or primarily theater?
Just theater, yeah.
Yeah.
Little bits and pieces here and there, but nothing significant. Yeah.
Are you interested in going back in front of the cameras anytime soon?
I'll go anywhere for you.
I'll call you then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we have today. Thank you, Lauren and Krista, for joining us for Backstaged the Series. It's so great to see you guys. You both look fantastic, and I miss you guys so much.
I miss you. I miss everyone.
Yeah, well, hopefully my plan is to, for the last episode that we do this on, get everybody, which I imagine will just be a whole lot of us talking all over each other and a lot of telling us we miss each other. But but I'll be reaching out to everybody for that final episode, and hopefully we'll get everybody on one Zoom call, and we can all just catch up, whether we record it or not.
That'd be great.
All right. Well, take care. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is Jeff Cook, Lauren Miller, and Krista Mitchell saying goodbye. Enjoy episode 7. Bye.
Bye.
I feel like I'm shiny. Do I seem a little shiny to you guys?
He's ready for his close-up.
Yeah. No, that's a little white now. How's this look, everybody?